All righty, what is up, college baseball fans? Welcome to the Omaha recap episode of the 11.7 podcast. Episode is brought to you by Home Field Apparel. It is not too late to use our promo code CWS25 for 15% off. They were great to us this year, and you guys support them. They're good people. Anyways, we got the whole crew here. Our second ever Omaha recap episode. Usually the 11.7 guys go 0-30 after the College World Series, but I don't know. Last year's episode was a success. People want it this year, so we'll do one for you.
Yeah, the internet made you do it this year.
Ben, can you explain, give a little background on this? Because they don't understand why.
Well, do you want me to tell the truth or just make something up?
You just want me to say it? I was going to let you say it, but I'll say it.
You're a pretty truthful guy. You can say it. I'll correct you if I need to.
Well, first of all, let me get my mic over here because this is important. We just signed off, closed our computer, logged off of everything, ended all our subscriptions as soon as the College World Series ended. We were over it. LSU won in 2023, and everyone freaked out on us that we did. Sorry, we didn't record when LSU won the national championship. But as soon as Tennessee and Tony Vitello and the Vols won last year, we had a recap episode. LSU fans lost their shit and were like, "Oh my God, it's a Tennessee homer." So Tennessee and every other fan base, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, every fan base lost their shit because we recapped when Tennessee won.
To be honest, shit hit the fan, and Schloss went to Texas too. It wasn't just Tennessee winning a natty, because there was another big storyline.
Good point. That is true. We did want to hop on the airwaves and talk about how.
From 2019 until 2024. After the final pitch was thrown, whether it was the College World Series or that COVID year, we just shut it down. We just didn't do any off-season content. So hopefully we can change that for you guys this year. But yeah, what we'll do, so the plan of the show, I know everybody's begging to know, especially Noah. Jack's got about an hour with us before he has to go get a haircut, and he's going to Curacao, the land of Andrew Jones, for a week with his girlfriend, Natalie. So we'll give Jack the floor like the first, 45 minutes to an hour. Let him talk about his season recap, his experiences with LSU and like how cool it was to visit with Jay Johnson and the team after they won the College World Series. And then he has to bounce. Noah, myself, and Dimitri will do a full season review recap and then also talk about some stuff like the transfer portal, coaching carousel, MLB draft, I don't know, whatever catches our attention. So should be a pretty chill episode here.
I think I only got about an hour as well, if that's what we're talking about after Jack just saw.
All right, so Jack, the floor is yours. Talk
you
to
want
us
to do
about
a home field read?
We already did that.
Oh, we did?
Yeah,
No,
dummy.
stay in your corner down there.
I will.
Idiot. Let's use the home field segue though, man. I think that's a good place to start. Putting together like a recap of like all the jersey swaps that I did and pulled off on behalf of 11.7 and home field this year. You realize how blessed you are and how many different teams and coaches and players you're able to interact with, and dating all the way back from February when I went out to Arizona. Got to cover teams like Nebraska and Irvine and Vanderbilt. From there, man, Josh, who's our point of contact with home field, such a monster. Got to hang out with Noah and I both, got to get a drink, and we did an actual post-late night hotel jersey swap with our 11.7 winner. Shout out to Dylan. That was a lot of fun. Definitely remember when we took that picture. Said nobody in that picture. But it was a blast, man. Omaha was great. And, I don't know. Where should we start? You want to start from the beginning? Should we start from the end? What do you think, boys?
Yeah, let's start. Let's start game one of Coastal Carolina LSU National Championship, and then after that, we'll get into the game two drama and the after, whatever happened after that.
Yeah,
that's kind of the only way my brain works.
Yeah, we'll start recency. I think that national championship, you understood going in that it felt like we had the two best teams on planet Earth, which is always really cool, right? Like Coastal Carolina, 26-game winning streak, LSU. come on. Like, at this point, they've solidified themselves as the best college baseball program of all time. Jay Johnson, the best coach in baseball, his second national championship in 3 years. It's just like mano-a-mano going at each other. Foot in the bucket, stand in the middle of the ring, and the heavyweights going at each other. And it really all started with pitching. And that first matchup, you get Kade Anderson, who becomes a folklore hero and potentially putting himself in the number 1 overall pick status, versus Cameron Flukie, who everyone's like, oh, is Coastal throwing off? No, Jacob Morrison. Cameron Flukie, just a sophomore, is going to have some crazy, crazy offers fly at him. And you want to talk about tampering in college baseball. Like, Cameron Flukie is going to be the face of it, right? Like, let's be completely honest. He's absolutely wonderful in this outing. Giving up a run in the first inning, and then you lose in a 1-0 ball game. If you're a Coastal fan, all you can do is tip the cap. I got Mike Teal Rawlings hat on. Shout out the boys at Rawlings, specifically Mr. Will Upton and Parker Coyne, playing a lot of defense this week in the great state of Nebraska together. But, I mean, that baseball game, you're just sitting there shaking your head going, like, this was, right, what we thought we were going to get in Arkansas LSU, like with the whole Louder and Skeens conversation. We quite literally get it in game 1 of the finals. Flukie strikes out 9. Kade Anderson gets into a little bit of trouble early. I thought a Nate Yeskie mound visit in that first inning was massive, because you could tell both, not only Anderson, but Luis Hernandez behind the plate, who's very sure-handed, up both a little nervous. After that mound visit, like, pristine pitching performance. And obviously will go down as one of the best in the history of the finals. They win 1-0. You roll into game 2, and Jacob Morrison is the dog that is the dog of all dogs, hasn't lost all year for Coastal, and you're stoked to see how he fares against Anthony Ianson and a crowd that was frankly 95.5. It was raucous. It was covered in purple and gold, and LSU's crowned national champion for the 8th time. Timely hitting, monster mile, and talked about this with Jay Johnson after they won it. He's like, he's the best player in the tournament. Like, he was the best player in the College World Series, in his opinion. Obviously, understanding Anderson wins most outstanding player, but Stephen Milam is so much fun. And Ben and I, being Astros homers, I've made the Altuve comp 100 times just because of sheer size. We also double down and make it because it feels like he's in every big moment. So, yes, LSU is the national champions, but it's so fitting to me that in our sport, where it's the underdog, right? Like, that always you seem to have grab at and pull at your heartstrings. For it to have LSU, and I obviously know Milam was a big-time recruit coming out of high school, Team USA from 14U on, but he's 5'6", and the things that he does on a baseball field are nothing short of remarkable. He gloves it as good as anybody in the country at short. He's got a cannon of an arm, and somehow, some way, he always stands in the box when the Tigers needed him most. And he did it all College World Series long. Watching that guy play baseball is one of my favorite things in the world. And he's at the forefront of why they win the thing.
And I could not agree more with that, because there was, you know how LSU like shuffled their lineup a little bit throughout the postseason? It felt like every big moment landed on Stephen Milam. It was like, oh, wait, where's he hitting? He's hitting 6th? Okay. Like, big moment, like home run in the regionals. And then in the College World Series, like, oh, he's hitting 3-hole.
Yep.
2 out, base hit, score a run. Dude, he was I never even thought about putting him as the most outstanding player because of what Kade Anderson did.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty damn good point you made there.
Yeah, it's just like it's even watching his IO. It's watching his batting practice. Like, intent is the word that comes to mind. Like, as a baseball fan, he's so stoic, and like that's just him as a person, which is why he's so valuable in those moments that you forget about him. Just like really good catchers behind the plate, the good ones, you don't even realize they're there. Balls hit to that side of the field, and it's don't worry about it. Glove hand, backhand.
And it's crazy because he was overshadowed by 3 other elite shortstops in that tournament.
100%.
That's what everybody was talking about. The Rock Chalowskis, the Vahiva Aloys. Who am I missing here?
Iva.
There was Iva Arquette. Like 3 first-round potential players all ahead of Stephen Milam. And he was the one that he made all of the plays, came up in all the biggest moments. Dude, you sold me. He was the most outstanding player in that tournament.
Yeah, man, they're just right? And it's a little bit different than the 23 team, right? So when you talk about this 2 national championships in 3 years for LSU, this is very different than 23, where that storyline was transfer portal guys paired with 8 starters that are from an hour away from the box. Mm-hmm. This year's team is like a really crazy fun blend. And I asked him in that interview with Jay, I was like, was there a turning point? Was there a moment where you go, oh, we've got enough to do it? And he goes, no. That's what was so much fun to coach this team. Every day they were the exact same. And if you think about it, they didn't hold the number 1 spot more than anyone in the country, but they were probably the most consistent team from start to finish. There was never a turn it on, turn it off, hot, cold, hot, like we always like to talk about. They were who they were. We knew that they were dominant as shit on Fridays and Saturdays. We're going to figure it out on Sundays. And offensively, they lived and died by who they were. They tinkered with the offense quite often. And to say they're national champions, no one's really survived. Ben, I know there's some in the category that are tired of it, fatigued of the dominance of LSU. And obviously, I'm sure LSU fans love that. Like, they get it, right? Like, they love being the best. So it was a blessing to help be a very small vessel in helping tell some of their stories. And I'm very thankful to be bought in, have those guys bought in. And like, to me, like, my vision for this thing to be able to tell stories in our sports, like, is in a booth, and to hand the pencil off to a guy like Jake Brown and have him interview Kade Anderson. Like, that was probably the coolest moment for me, because that's my vision for this thing. So to have it on the most grandiose of stages, the grandest of stages, and a grandiose moment, that was a cool pinch yourself moment where, like, not only they're bought in, but they see the value of it. And that was really cool.
Yeah. I will say this, whether Coach Johnson wants to say they went through, a hot, cold, hot year, for the sake of the hot, cold, hot theory still sticking around, they began the year 22-1. From March 21st to May 15th, they were 18-12, and then they finished the year 13-2.
No.
So there's your hot, cold, hot there.
Yep. Now, speaking of trends, our trend of every 8 College World Series mid-major wins, that did come to an end. They did come to an end, even though all of the signs pointed towards it being Coastal Carolina's year. Just ran into a buzzsaw.
So every 8 years, a mid-major gets to the College World Series semifinals?
Yeah, well, finals, not semifinals.
Well, there was one other year where it was just
Louisiana Lafayette, they made it in 2000 to the semifinals.
Yeah.
That's not good enough for me. Every 8 years, mid-major makes the semifinals. Who gives a shit? Nobody wants that. But, guys, I was thinking about this. LSU, Coastal Carolina, Baton Rouge Super Regional. LSU, Stony Brook, Baton Rouge Super Regional. This year was a regional with Little Rock. Yep. LSU was down 5-1 in a winner-take-all regional final at Alex Bach. And it just makes you wonder what would have happened those other years that they got heartbroken by a team in Alex Bach. Could they have 9? Could they have 10 national championships? It just shows you, like, this team is a team that you should consider from every year in and year out to be a national championship pick. Because who knows if Little Rock knocks off LSU in that regional final, if they just roll some guy out and he had a career day and they hold that 5-1 lead, we're not sitting here talking about Jay Johnson being the greatest coach, the best coach in modern day coach right now. Or we're not talking about Kade Anderson, Anthony Irons being one of the best 1-2 punches. We're talking about what a failure of a season. Jay Johnson and Ed Ogeron of LSU football, those people would get louder. And you would say, LSU 2023 national championship was bought. He inherited a roster and he won. And no, he got the opportunity to prove them wrong and hit their back against the wall against a very unpredictable team. So I think it was just really cool to see how it all unfolded.
To build off of that point, there were a couple accounts of Twitter accounts that deleted tweets. I bookmarked the Ed Orgeron comparison with Jay Johnson. Those tweets no longer exist.
I like that, man. If that's all, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Let's stay positive. Yeah, good call, Ben.
I'll go back to something else that Jack said that I was not going to interrupt, but I know you and Ben have compared Stephen Milam to Jose Altuve, but
baseball history.
But he also hails from the state of New Mexico, where another LSU shortstop was from as well, and Alex Bregman. So that was a pretty cool story to learn about during the College World Series, because I didn't know of that history between the two of those guys.
Yeah, I didn't.
With all due respect to Stephen Milam, please do not compare him to Alex Bregman.
I was not. I'm just saying he was from the state of New Mexico as an LSU shortstop.
Yeah. Well, I will. And I mean, from a size standpoint, Bregman's not much bigger, and they are just as clutch. But what was cool was there was a guy, they took the party to the streets after they won the Natty and took a picture in front of the statue. There was like a fan wearing an Alex Bregman jersey, LSU jersey, and Stephen Milam signed the hat in exchange for the jersey, took it right off this guy's back. Said Bregman reached out to him before every single one of the postseason games. And that takes me into my final point with LSU, and we can move onward and talk about the rest of the World Series. But I got to interview Kramer Robertson after they won it all. I'm releasing that video actually tomorrow.
Who's his mom again?
I can't remember. Yeah. Wait, do you actually not know?
No, we were messing with Noah.
Oh my God, he did it! He fell for it, Ben.
Well, I missed the last pod. I was like, I didn't realize. Like, wait.
No, that was a joke from last pod.
Missed it on me.
No one didn't know who his mom was.
You didn't know his mom was?
I did not.
Really?
Not. Yeah.
Love Kramer Robertson, but as a family that hails from South Carolina women's basketball fandom, I'll keep my opinion short. So, you know, like when you talk about the Bregman relationship and why it was so important for Milam to like buy off a fan for his Bregman jersey, like at the national championship, right? The LSU fraternity to me is what separates them from maybe any other program, right? Like, Jay had also mentioned that in the interview. Dimitri was to the point of like, he goes, dude, they almost got us. Like Arkansas Little Rock had us. And then they didn't lose another game after. And that's including 2 matchups with Arkansas. That's including a matchup with a really, really good UCLA. And then 2 with Coastal. And West Virginia, I'm totally skipping up. They didn't lose a game the rest of the season after Little Rock got them. And they were on the ropes in that winner take all. He was like, that is the beauty and the, like, he's like, why all of us coaches have gray hairs is because it's all random. It's all chance. And we can segue that into the conversation about Arkansas here in a second. But the reason why the LSU baseball family, that is upper echelon, running like a major league organization from a resources technology standpoint, what allows them that I think to win in those moments, right? Like, why are they so lucky, if you will, or like how they get the ball to bounce the right way in those big time moments is a guy like Kramer Robertson, who, you know, never got to hoist a trophy, right? Who's famously known for that picture down on the field and is wanting that get back. Like they are just as much invested in this championship as they were when they played for it. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen at other programs. I'm saying it happens all the time at LSU. Like the utmost support from everyone across the board is just insane to see in person, right? It's like why every single restaurant and business in Omaha is cheering harder than hell that for those teams to get there. The economic impact, the bring, the support, it's all just different. And Kramer had talked about that in his interview. Like you feel a little bit of redemption. Now, it's easy to say that when the cameras are on, but do you actually feel that? Do you still feel slighted that you didn't get to win a national championship? Because when you talk to them, then you're like, oh, wait, this is real. And I think that's why, like, they always like, hey, you were a win or loss there. And then when you talk about other programs, like, they just can't find the lucky ball each way. And is it because they're not all in like an LSU? And that's a totally different conversation and probably could be a podcast in itself. But man, what they bring to the table, the Mardi Gras mic shit. Did you guys know that tiger you could ride in?
Yes, it's like a float.
All that.
I heard that it was like the floating companies during the Mardi Gras stuff. They endorsed whoever was driving it to drive that around during the College World Series in Omaha. So
cool. That's cool. The last thing I'll say too is that I'm curious y'all's perspective. In 23, like they don't win the national championship without guys like Riley Cooper and Nate Ackenhausen and like random name Beloso, who is our favorite, right? 11.7 legend. What's fun about this year's team is like Kason Evans, if he doesn't throw in that Monday against Little Rock, they're not here. Chase Shores tears his UCL in Friday or in 23, a weekend guy, misses all last year. They don't win without him. Jake Brown's a legend. Like the fun names that pop up along the way. Were there some other names on y'all's radar that you go, oh, cool? Like after a week and a half, like these not necessarily made themselves money. I don't give a damn about the draft. Like because we love college baseball. Like as a historian, I'll remember a guy like Kason Evans. Well, obviously his career's just getting going. Justin Thomas of Arkansas had like the best World Series that no one will ever remember. Like those
Mayu neighbors too of Louisville,
right? Like that shit's the best.
Yeah. Braswell of LSU. That was a huge discussion that Dimitri and Ben and I had the College World Series Finals preview show, whether or not he should be in that lineup. And then all of a sudden that game one, he makes 2 outstanding defensive plays. Game 2, it was a sack bunt, a walk, and then a hit. So yeah, he made a big impact. And then how about this? Let's take the conversation to a couple of the big kind of the hot topics, right? So Danny Dickinson played throughout the postseason with a broken hamate bone.
Crazy.
So he was batting 8th for a lot of the postseason and a lot of the College World Series. He gets hit by a pitch in game 1 where he turns his entire body and then the elbow kind of dips down, into the front of the batter's box, and that gets drilled by a pitch. I think it's very interesting and something to note that Coach Johnson comes out of the dugout, gets a word from the umpire, but he's like very standoffish. I just want to know your explanation. Backs off, right? So. But first, before we move on and talk about the other umpire topic, this rule
that transition is going to piss off every single fan listening. That one's going to really piss them off.
The hit by pitch rule is in good faith. However, it should just never be a strike because it resulted in a strikeout for Danny Dickinson.
There's 2 options. I'm very passionate about this hit by pitch rule. There's 2 options you got to do.
We got to talk about the names that Jack said. One, like a name or 2 of LSU players that we will remember.
Yeah, I said Braswell Dickinson. Sorry, I didn't mean to dictate that combo.
I'll give mine.
Wait. Can I get a definition first? Is it like we'll remember like his future of baseball, or like a name we're going to remember for this 2025 team?
I think for this championship team. Like the idea was like. It's fun to me because, there are going to be guys that have unbelievable big league careers, but like LSU does not win in 23, like even with the Skeens and Tommy White, without a Riley Cooper, Nate Ackenhausen. Like, so to me, like this year's team, like what happens, right? Without Steve Milam, they don't win it, which is like an easy thing.
I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I'll never forget when I think of LSU baseball, Bear Jones will always be one of the guys that comes up in my mind.
That was my answer too. Like after having an 0-for-5 game 1 with 5 strikeouts, he comes back with a homer, a walk-off hit, and just like that presence in the box that they needed in the middle of the order.
Yeah. And then the other guy, I'm going to hand up. I didn't watch a lot of LSU baseball this year. Luis Hernandez wasn't even a guy I was even familiar with before Little Rock. I just knew he was LSU's catcher. I totally forgot he was a transfer from Indiana State.
Yeah,
and then now I'm like, LSU's catcher, Luis Hernandez. I'll remember him forever after that Little Rock series. And then everyone started talking about him. He was getting more attention. So I think those are my 2. I mean, obviously Couriel, Milam, but I'm just picking 2.
I like the
one that you guys didn't bring up. So
LSU and SEC fans do not take that out of context. Dimitri doesn't watch as much LSU because, I mean, we are locked into a lot of other teams that nobody else cares to pay attention to and give that love.
I could give two shits if they get mad at that. There's 304 other teams in the country.
Yeah, okay. I think too, like to your point, like it's the DVD question. I go back and watch the Astros 2017 World Series DVD before every first pitch just because I love it. I want to know who's on the DVD. They're like, yeah, like Marwin Gonzalez 0-2 homer against Kevin Jansen. Sick. Like when you think about this LSU team, Bear Jones 5 strikeouts. I would have bet both legs on him to hit a homer in the next game. He does it in the first at bat and pimps it backside, right? Like
you told me prior to the game he was going deep.
I told Bear Jones prior to the game. I go, hey, congratulations on your home run today, and he was like, shut the hell up. Hits it after the game. I got you. Hilarious. Like that. Those will be memories you remember for a lifetime, and LSU fans will too. Another one I want to shout out too. Throughout the season, he was their leverage guy every single time. Goes through a little bit of a rough patch at literally the last weekend in Hoover. Zach Cowens is another dude with a bowling ball changeup. They start him in that one game, and he's totally he's so valuable in that role because he was a starter last year. They moved him to the back end to have the mentality to go, hey, I can do this still too. I got that in my back pocket. Like that's another guy where you watch the DVD and you go, man, that was a scary-ass game, and he brought an absolute calm composure to start it.
If Zach Cowan did not do what he did against Arkansas in that bracket final, Kade Anderson is starting the next game in the winner-take-all. Anthony Ianson is hot in the bullpen coming in right after. Coastal Carolina is probably winning game 1 of the College World Series final. And who knows what happens after that.
If they play that Thursday against Arkansas, all the chips are on Coastal for the weekend. Like
Coach Jay Johnson even said, nobody in the city of Omaha is happier than me that there's not going to be a game played on Thursday. And that was the exact reason. He didn't say that, but that was the reason.
Yeah.
Like I would have been, oh my God, I'm all over Coastal winning it. But as soon as they beat Arkansas and went straight to the final with a perfect record, I would go, LSU winning this thing. Not because Coastal wasn't good enough, whatever. It was Kade Anderson on regular ref. It was Anthony Ianson on regular ref, lined up perfectly. And you're not beating. Not many teams beat LSU in a 3-game series with this much on the line. Auburn claimed, we swept them. No, that was just a weekend in April. Like, congratulations, you beat them at home in April.
Yeah.
Do it again now with those 3 guys. I mean, not many teams have beaten that team.
Think off the top of your head, to me, Anderson Ianson's going to go down as one of the best 1-2 punches.
I will always say Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer.
But they didn't get one though, right?
Right.
They didn't win it, but that is probably the greatest 1-2 punch.
It's different. I'm with you, but I think they're in the same conversation. Is at least what I'm trying to say. Like
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We'll see how they both pan out in the MLB too. Like we see how Cole and how many Cy Youngs between the two of them there. So
you cannot sit here today and say, I'm taking Anthony Ianson and Kade Anderson to match Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer have done their career, and people are going to freak out. Oh my God, don't say that name. Don't say that name. Give the shit. He was a great baseball player, the great pitcher at UCLA. He did great things on the baseball field. That's what we talk about. So I think Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer were probably the best 1-2 punch.
We're gonna get shadow banned on YouTube for saying that.
Can I, before we move off of this series, can I take us back? Can I just drag us back into the umpire conversation? Because I want to do it.
Your transition is Coastal fans off though.
The hit by pitch rule just needs to be revisited. I thought whoever tweeted that, whether it was Ben or Dimitri, was perfect. Perfect wording. Revisit it because it shouldn't be a strike, right? Go ahead, Ben.
I just think there's 2 ways to do it. One, it should either be non-reviewable, like with video, because video is just like I'm kind of out on video replay. I miss umpires messing up and like us as consumers of the sport being able to blame the umpires and complain and this and that. Like that's fun to me. So one, either it's not reviewable, like umpire says, hey, he leaned into the pitch, that's a strike, he's out. Because then it's like, all right, well, then we can't see where the ball is, right? So on the video replay, you're like, oh, that's obviously a ball. Like it shouldn't matter if it hit him or not. The second way, and probably my preference of where the rule needs to be is, hey, if he intentionally leans into a pitch and it's clearly a ball after video review, and like I'm talking clearly a ball inside the batter's line or above the shoulder or whatever, then like it should just be called a ball. No hit by pitch, ball 3, ball 2, whatever it is. And like let's keep playing. But this whole, hey, his elbow dipped down just a little bit, and it's even though it's inside the right-handed batter's box, we're going to call that a strike, and strike 3, you're out. Like that's crazy. You're rewarding the pitcher for an awful pitch.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. Just call it a ball. If he goes in, what?
Why is it reviewable? Like video reviewable? There's so many things that are not reviewable in baseball. Yeah. They're like, oh, we can't review that, or like it's not reviewable. Like that should be just not reviewable. If the umpire thinks he leaned into it and you want to call it a strike, no video review. 0.
I think they should take away the review and take away the automatic strike. The reason why it's reviewable is because you can possibly call them out or call a strike on. So they want to make sure it's 100% correct that they intentionally leaned into the pitch. They have Evo Shield guards. Everyone has an elbow guard on now. They're not scared to throw that elbow into a pitch. So, but the pitcher is not. It's the pitcher's fault for even giving them the opportunity to do that. It's a ball. It's a ball. It's very simple. It's a ball.
It's just a stupid rule.
Before we move on from game 1 to game 2, by the way, I don't know if Jack wanted to add anything on that topic either.
It's a common sense rule. It's insane that it's not otherwise. Everyone, like, there's not one umpire that can explain it with logic. So you're like, whatever. Yeah. That's all I got.
So it was a 1-0 game. Kade Anderson threw the complete game. I mean, Coastal Carolina left 9 runners on base. There was a outstanding play by Anderson on a bunt. Got the lead out at third. That was huge. Then later on in the game, outstanding play on another bunt by Braswell. It was almost a perfect throw in that type of situation. And then the 9th inning, he showed tremendous range to just keep runners off base paths, where Anderson's at like 120 pitches. And that's also like just extra stress pitches later on in the game. So who knows if you have to go to the bullpen there. That was gigantic. So the first inning in game 2, let's 28 pitches into the game. Coastal Carolina's Sebastian Alexander steals a base, which also he overslid a third base during game 1. And that was also very big at the time, unfortunately for Coastal, but he's still second base. Cameras are focused on him. Meanwhile, first base coach Matt Schilling is jawing with the home plate umpire Angel Campos about balls and strikes, which as an assistant coach, you're not even really allowed to talk to the umpires. You get a quick hook if you're doing that. So to get a warning was generous. He was warning Schilling. As he's giving out the warning, Coach Schnall comes out of the dugout asking what is going on. You can see him mouth, what is going on, for what? And then Campos says, arguing balls and strikes, it's a warning. And Schnall says, you speaking fast, so it's hard to read his mouth, but it's something along the lines of, you missed 3 pitches because you missed 3. And he got the boot. And I don't know if he got warned, which is just, it just can't happen in a national championship game.
Warning in one moment cannot lead to an ejection in the same moment. That was my only issue. It was all still the same moment. It was the same situation. You warned them. You just de-escalate it and you move on. And then if it happens again, it's an ejection. You can't warn them and throw them out in the same moment unless they literally motherfuck you or something, like something crazy.
Which, by the way, I was an umpire in at least youth travel, and the number one rule that I was taught, like, just don't eject anybody because it's extra paperwork. But if you're going to, the magic word is you. It's not any explicitive. It's you. Like, if they're saying you,
some magic words worse than you.
I'm just saying what I was taught. If they say you, now the rabbit ears go up. And he said, because you missed 3 pitches, you missed 3. That is.
What are they going to use? They, them. He, she, they, them.
So, anyways, Campos quick trigger, which is just completely unforgivable. You can't do that. So Schnall goes and gets his word in. Like, you're going to go earn it if you just got tossed, not only for this game, but you're arguing balls and strikes. So now you're gone for an extra 2. So he goes out there. Campos is a pussy. He's walking away. Doesn't want any part of this conversation whatsoever. Just walking away, turns his back on Coach Schnall. And Coach Schnall wants to get his 2 cents in because he got rung unjustly. The second base umpire, Kellen Levy, comes running in, bumps Coach Schnall. Like, the umpire bumped Schnall and then backs up and trips over Campos's foot. And then I put out the clip. Like, he literally looks around. Did anybody see that? And then holds up the number 2 for the fucking 2-game suspension that you get if you make physical contact with an umpire. Just absolutely hilarious.
Well, you don't know what game you were watching. I saw Coach Schnall literally pick him up by the ankles and body slam him to the ground.
That's what I saw too. I saw Schnall knock his ass on the ground.
Yeah. Schnall picked him up by his earlobes and did a 360 twirl, a lasso,
so at
50 yards over.
So at this point, when all of this is going on, Coach Schnall is in Levy's and the first base umpire's faces, like talking about, hey, I didn't fucking push him. He tripped. Coach Schilling sees the opportunity to go up to Campos and see what happened, why he rung Schnall up. And immediately after the first 3 words that he says to Campos gives him the fucking call too. And now Schilling's gone. Just unbelievable sequence that just can't happen within the same pitch. It needs to be escalated throughout the game, at least in my opinion. You can't warn them and then toss them in 20 seconds. It's just can't.
How many games was Tony Vitelli suspended for when he hip thrusted Jeffrey Massia?
I don't know.
Did Massia went like this? He didn't go like this. So I don't think he got 2.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that when it happened.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, I had no idea when it happened.
Well, like, I guess to kind of reel this all in, yeah, it was a disaster of a first inning because of that. I think pretty much everybody in the world agrees like that should have just not happened. And to bring up Dimitri's point, nothing built up to that moment. So it wasn't like it's the 7th inning and the Coastal Carolina dugout is wearing him out all game. He's given warnings. He's given him a few like, hey, I don't want to do this, but like I'm going to eject you if I hear that word again. That's a completely different circumstance. And like I think there's certain cases where if this was the 8th inning and Coastal Carolina is getting shut out and Coach Schnall wants to fire up the boys, like maybe he goes and gets purposely ejected to, rally the guys up. 8th inning, like we're down to our last 6 outs, we're down by 2 runs. Like I'm gonna get the boys fired up. At no point was Coach Schilling, Coach Schnall, or anybody on either dugout wanting to like light a flame. Like it's the first inning of an elimination game for them. Like they want to be there so they can make strategic moves throughout the game and put their team in the best chance to win. So it was embarrassment. It's not the NCAA's fault. It's not college baseball's fault. Like there was one home plate umpire that just thought he was the star of the show. And like I don't believe he's ever going to get another big game moment again because like why would you? Like if you're the NCAA, like why would you ever
He's already been fired from the MLB.
Yeah, he was fired from the MLB in 2014 for very similar situations of being thin-skinned. So it's like we'll never see this again, and like hopefully the NCAA does a better job of vetting guys before the College World Series to get the best guys out there. But it does suck. It sucks for Coastal. It sucks for Coastal Carolina fans, and it also sucks for LSU and LSU fans because now they have this like social media rallying behind Coastal saying, well, like they would have won the game if they would have had their top 2 coaches. No?
I hate that argument.
Well, I do too. Believe me, I hate it too.
So Coastal scores the first run of the game, by the way. Dean Mijos had an outstanding CWS. He goes yard, gets the boys going. Immediately, the following half inning, they play Colin Baton Rouge in the stadium, which,
how is that legal?
I don't know. It's very little, and it's petty of me to even mention it. But stadium all gets going. It's 24,000 LSU fans compared to 500 50-50 fans and then 500 Coastal Carolina fans. The Chanticleers fans literally had just 2 sections to themselves. It was kind of crazy how purple and gold that stadium was. So they're all singing "Calling Baton Rouge." They go out in the very next inning. They put up a 3 or 4 spot. They chase Jacob Morrison in the next inning. It's 5-1 all of a sudden in a matter of 4 or 5 innings. And they were just kind of cruising along. Wells Sykes makes it interesting with a 2-run homer. It actually pushed the total on the game at the closing number of 8 for those that were invested hypothetically in that one. But I just it was never in doubt that I guess LSU was going to win this one after the 3rd inning, right? But I would love to have at least seen Coastal Carolina coaching staff at full strength for it.
It was a 1-0 game and a 5-3 game. To me, it never really felt close. It was like the most non-close 1-0 game ever. It felt like a 5-0 game in that 1-0 game.
It would have felt a lot closer. That 1-0 game would have felt a lot closer if Kade Anderson would have not come out for like the 9th inning.
So you know what I mean? Right. Exactly my point. Like it felt like it was 5-0. Coastal needed a whole big old rally to even have a chance in this game. The other one was 5-1, and it just never really felt close.
I'll disagree with game 1, I guess. That was pretty tense throughout. Like there were a lot of innings where Coastal was doing work. They had runners on base. They just didn't get anything.
But what I'm saying, obviously, it's a 1-0 game is close, but it felt like a 3-0, a 5-0 game for LSU. It never really felt close.
Well, I'll tell you this. Going into game 1, I've never seen that LSU fan base from a consensus not feel good. Like I think every LSU fan in that building was like, Coastal's got the juju. Yeah. 26 straight, like they match up really well with us. We've dominated teams this year because we think we have the best 2 pitchers in the country. And Coastal Carolina's sitting there going, we got the best 3 pitchers on the weekend in the country. Mm-hmm. Don't let this thing go to 3. We'll beat you the hell out of you. Like, because Riley Eckhoff was sitting there waiting. So you're right. The minute that I knew that it wasn't close anymore, I was sitting with my boy Aaron Miller. Shout out to boy A. Millie, who helped me.
My new best friend. Love Aaron.
Dude, Aaron Miller and the Upton boys, out of control, out of pocket all weekend long. Some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. But he was a huge help, and have one of my best friends out there with me to assist was really cool. We're sitting there in the 7th inning watching together, and Anderson comes off this mound to a raucous, right? And you're like, oh, I guess that's it. And he's at 98 pitches at the end of the 7th. And Aaron was like, man, that was pretty cool. And I go, oh, you think it's over? And then ESPN showed him in the dugout, and he's sitting there smiling. And my boy Emilio looks at me, he's like, I told you. Now I'm wrong a lot, but I go, he's sitting, dumbass. He's coming back out. He's laughing because he's having fun, which is like a totally different level of oh, this is a bad man. This is a bad man. He walks out for that 8th. And my boy Aaron looks at me and goes, oh, shit, he's going 9, and he's going to throw 156 Quinn Matthews style. He has to.
Yeah.
At that moment, as he walks back out for the 8th, you go, ball game, dog. It was cool to see.
By the way, 7 free passes from Kade. I don't even know if that was a top 3 outing for him on the year, but he goes complete game, 130 or whatever it was, and just super impressive because the first inning, I said it to somebody in the press room. I thought Coastal Carolina had the wrong scout because in the pregame, Coach Schnall was interviewed by, I think it was Chris Budden, and she asked him something along the lines of, hey, what do you plan to do for their success today? And he's like, yeah, we're just going to work the counts, get them in the high ball counts early. 130 pitches and they didn't pull him. So it might have been the wrong scout, but that was a very impressive outing for, how kind of unsturdy it was at times. There was a lot of pressure-packed moments in that 130.
Yeah, I think the big reason why, and I don't want to cut his performance short, but with the wind blowing 40 miles an hour in from center field, it was almost like, hey, we're going to ride Kade as long as we want because it's a 1-0 game. He's settled in. He stopped walking people and hitting people. nobody's going to hit a homer in this environment. So it's not going to be a 1-1 game. But we're possibly afraid of somebody coming in from the bullpen, walking a couple guys, not fielding bunts, not holding runners on. Like Kade Anderson is an elite person to hold runners on too.
Yep.
So I think if the environment was different, if it was blowing 40 miles an hour out, he might not have been in that game in the 8th, 9th inning.
I agree.
Yeah, he managed the game manager. He's an elite game manager, and that's what you got to ride with in those situations.
Pull up the tape from our podcast back in like February, maybe like the first weekend. I was like, dude, this is the best pitcher in the country. Like his pitch ability and like his ability to control the game is major league-esque. He's going to be in the big leagues really, really soon.
You doubled down on it. I remember that awful weekend in Norman when it was like 12 degrees and it looked miserable and it was Witherspoon and Anderson. I remember you doubling down on it then. And that was the first time I really was like, oh, I'm going to like sit down and actually watch every single one of his pitches moving forward. And that was like kind of his, it don't matter, rain, sleet, or shine, like he's here to shove it up your ass.
Hey, Noah, I have a question for you.
What's up?
I don't remember any outlet, including us or any people, was anyone really that high in Kade Anderson in January?
No, not at all. It was kind of a battle for the Friday night spot that I was following throughout. Like, there would be a couple of people that had access to the winter practices for LSU, and it would be like, okay, Kade Anderson threw against, I think at one point it was Chase Shores on the Friday of practices, and then Anthony Ianson, Zach Cowan on Saturday. And the following week, it was Kade Anderson, Anthony Ianson on Friday, Zach Cowan, Chase Shores on Saturday. And consistently, it was Kade Anderson being the number one. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. He threw 38 pitches or 38 innings, in 2023-24. And that was a year off of Tommy John. It was a sub-4 ERA. And just the other day, actually, I went and looked up because I know I tweeted out like my favorite 10 pitchers for 2025 MLB Draft, right-handed and left-handed. And I was actually surprised that I listed him inside the top 10 because there just wasn't that buzz for Kade coming into the preseason. And
I don't even think he was a top 5 SEC pitcher coming into the season.
I don't know either. I really don't. By the way, Coach Jay Johnson said that he voted for Gabe Gackle as preseason SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Oh, he did.
Gackle returns. So the way he looked in the 2 LSU appearances in the College World Series, like he's going to be good. I thought he was going to be really good this year as a starter. He got moved to the bullpen, was great. But yeah, he's the real deal, Gackle.
I would love to kind of switching gears here, but I would love to come up with like $1 million and get Jacob Morrison back on campus at Coastal for this next year because Fluky returns a bunch. Fluky, Morrison, Johnson's coming back too, I believe. Like they're going to be loaded again next year.
And Walker Mitchell comes back. He was a top 4 hitter for them down the stretch. Colby Thorndike played a year, maybe 2 in JUCO. I don't think. I don't know.
I think Thorndike was 1 year at ECU, 1 year at JUCO, right?
Yeah. So 2 years.
Yeah, Mijos will be back. He'll be a good core piece. He'll build
around. Those are the guys off the top of my head in that lineup that I know are coming back probably.
Yeah, they're gonna miss Caden Bodine though. He's a freaking stud.
And Blake Barthel, he was a program stud.
Yeah, Jacob Morrison hadn't pitched and basically he hadn't recorded an in-game stat in 2 years.
He missed over 600 days of game action.
Yeah. Comes out, had an unbelievable year, a Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year, national award. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to get drafted, but I don't think I haven't looked yet. Is he getting top 3 round looks?
He's played his way. He's pitched his way into probably top 5. That's what I've at least.
He's gone.
He's 6'11".
Yeah. 6'8". Yeah, I mean he's a monster.
Freaking huge.
Jack, are the bases loaded?
The bases are loaded. You went Arkansas talk quickly, so I wanted to show some love to Pig Faithful. They gave me this hat over the weekend, and if you remember before we went to Arkansas, I didn't know about them. I just thought they liked to drink. So there's a little bit of transparency on being a dumbass, but also I really wanted to show some love to Arkansas before I left. Should we do Arky talk before I leave, or do we?
What do you want to finish with?
Well, I don't know. It makes me sad talking about them, but I get the hype, man. I get it. They're sick.
They're gonna pull it off one of these years. But we just as college baseball fans, everybody who is not like ride or die for their favorite SEC team.
Yeah.
We can stop picking them to win the College World Series in January.
Yeah.
Like I'm guilty of it. I've done it like probably 6 years in a row. Yeah. We got to just stop as a society. Let's just leave them alone. Don't touch them. Let them be. But they're going to get it done one of these years, man. They're too talented.
Jack, we talked about it on that pod previewing the CWS, but if you go ahead and provide your thoughts before you get out of here on Arkansas.
No, I don't want to do it. It makes me sad. It gives me trauma. But they're incredible human beings. I'll do this. How about I'm wearing it because I'm going to do a little Golden Spikes talk.
Oh, my God.
I'm glad that young man got a win. It felt like this year where no one ran away with it. All three guys there, you can make not just a valid point, a substantial point that they could have won it. Liam Doyle breaking the single-season strikeout record, like the juice. If it was a regular season award, it probably goes to him. Mr. Alex, the man, the myth, the Alex down in Tallahassee, like he was spectacular for the Noles this year. The numbers were off the charts. And then obviously Vahiva Lloyd, like I'm super stoked for that young man and his family, like getting to know him and getting to know his brother. And like, it was such a cool, I say blessing a lot, but it is like he's a pretty introverted kid and like didn't necessarily love doing media. And he thanked me because his mom had talked about how like he just came off very real in our interview. And to be in those moments with those guys was really badass. And Tony Vitello did it the night before. They do a Golden Spikes dinner. He flew in and surprised Liam Doyle for the dinner. Really cool. Like Liam said, he broke down a little bit. It was like, oh man, that meant a lot to me. Well, the entire Arkansas staff flew out the morning of the Golden Spikes, private chartered up to make sure that they were there just in case Vahiva won. He wins it. So to have them, they hit him in the back because I'm sure they told him that morning that he'd won. They hit him in the back room, and then they walked out as Vahiva won, and it was like, think about the roller coaster of emotions. He had to stay in Omaha for 48 hours after, like, obviously one of the worst days of their lives. So it's just him and his brother. They can't leave the hotel because, like, they're just kind of stuck in it. So for him to get that win, for those Arkansas coaches to come back and be here for him in that moment, it was that was really emotional for sure too. And I was stoked for him because he definitely had a Golden Spikes caliber season.
Can I say one thing about the Golden Spikes Award?
I hope you're going to say
New York. We'll put it back in ESPN. What are we doing a random on-field presentation? It's awful. It felt like a Walmart-ass presentation. Bring them back to New York. Put them in a studio like the Heisman Trophy. It is the Heisman Trophy of college baseball. They don't just walk on to the field in the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, in the Orange Bowl, and walk out. Three guys go to the 50-yard line on the center logo, and you're the winner. Congratulations! I get off the field at halftime.
I'll say
last year
it's coming. Just know that our boys at Chinook Seeds are taking care of business. Chinook has been the glue to everything behind the scenes in the college baseball world. Like what they're doing is it's God's work in college baseball. Just know that all the things, like, they're making it happen.
They're great.
Your boy got him in the studio.
It got taken away. It already was happening.
Hey, your boy got it in the studio. You had a problem with him doing it? You should have paid attention.
They're great people over at Chinook Seedery, and I don't know what the decision was to change it from last year. Last year was good. It was in the media room where all the post-game press conferences are had. They sat down the three contestants that were up for the Golden Spikes. They were on the podium. They go, and the winner is Charlie Condon. Not, okay, Liam, Alex, you had great seasons. The winner is Vahiva Aloy. What is, like, again, Chris Budden thinks she's pretty good. I think she's pretty good at her job.
I think she's the best. I think she's awesome.
She's great.
That's just not the way you do that. I'm sorry.
Got the broken microphone too.
Yes.
Broken microphone. Get a guy with like a camera backpack on, trying to hand her a new mic.
Working with technology, though, that was 100% because of the wind. You can't control it. It was 25 miles wind.
Why not do the Golden Spikes Award the Monday or Tuesday after
I think
conference.
it's all coming.
Selection show.
There was open
Monday,
days on Thursday and Friday, and we choose to do it Saturday, the 15 minutes before the game.
No. We got to ship their ass to New York, put them in a studio on Monday of selection show. Golden Spikes is a regular season award. It does not a postseason award.
I like that.
There's too much bias.
The answer is you do the college home run derby on that Friday off day, and then you do the Golden Spikes at the home run derby.
And
easy.
That's good.
No, but I want it to be a Heisman Trophy like presentation. I want all the former Golden Spikes winners to be there, lined up behind them. Make it a special moment, not just like congratulations on being the 10th man of the year. Congratulations on being the bench player winner.
All right, my congratulations is to you guys. I'd like to do another pod soon, but I must go. My beer hat is rolling. Guys,
go enjoy your time in Carousel.
Man, hell of a season. You kicked ass out there. I might talk shit and all that stuff, but truly, man, I'm super proud of you. Unbelievable job this year. I saw you everywhere. Every time I opened my phone, you were there. Yeah. So little tear-jerking moment here, but it's always Penn.
Ben's making fun of us for getting sappy, but I did want to say thank you. It is it's a privilege to represent this brand. Dimitri, you're staying up till 7 a.m. in the morning. You know you're making picks and you don't ever sleep. And Ben's the needle of college baseball. It is just cool as shit to even be associated with you guys. Much love. Till next time.
To year 8.
To year 8. 8 is great, son. Oof.
I will say,
we'll talk later.
Get your ass out of here, boy.
Since we're doing sappy stuff now, you want to just continue doing the
Noah, you're not allowed to do sappy stuff.
No. I'm not doing sappy stuff. I don't know if you guys wanted to. My sappy stuff was going to be like, this was year 1. I had a fucking blast working alongside you guys. Dimitri's grind fuels me because I thought that I worked crazy late night hours and he's on a totally different level. And I just want to be able to, one, work as hard as I can with this brand because I absolutely love it. And 2, I want this thing like year round. And I think we all agree with that. Like there is a lane for that. If anybody's out there listening to this episode and sees, the possibility for a partnership and whatever, hit us up. We've got 7 months of off season where we could talk about this. Right. So we are all ears and willing to talk about whatever future endeavors other people have ideas with.
Hey, give this man his flowers too. Don't just give me flowers. Give him flowers.
Ben and I had plenty of personal time.
Noah gave me a heart-to-heart in Omaha. We'll keep that off air. But
I was sleeping on the floor next to him.
Wait.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Why did Noah's heart-to-heart get off air, but me pissing my pants is on air? This is ridiculous.
It was not on air. It was not on air.
Yeah.
They saw my pants all wet.
They didn't see how
they
didn't see the water hose that was sprayed onto your leg because of that. Yeah,
because I brought a water hose into my room.
Yep.
Let's get back to the important stuff. Nobody cares about our lives. We can go a couple different directions here. We can do coaching carousel. We can do transfer portal stuff. We can do MLB draft. Wherever you guys want to go. It don't matter.
I think we should kind of update everybody on the coaching carousel very briefly. Just kind of because we're basically turning the page now. We're heading into a new year. So I think we should just start with the coaching carousel and go from there.
One thing that I love about working with you guys is we all have the same vision and agreement on we're not going to talk about any of that shit until the off season. Like that's all off season talk. Coaches, transfer portal. Let's talk about postseason baseball. So we haven't talked about any of those topics on 11.7 shows. Now's the time to do so.
Yeah,
I'll lead us off. Home run hires by everybody. Mississippi State gets their guy, Brian O'Connor. Could not think of a better fit. And then that leaves a vacancy open at Virginia. Who do they go and get? Home run hire Chris Pollard. And then, dude, Duke did an unbelievable job hiring. Like
Yeah.
Corey Muscara is one of the younger side geniuses in this sport,
Coveted.
and has built that Wake Forest program from nothing to something with the pitching. People hate pitching lab, but I'll say it, the pitching lab stuff. So it's like those 3 big time jobs have all been filled, and like they all got the best guy available.
So you guys want me to just? I was just going to name all the notables, and then we can dive into each one that we have our thoughts on.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
So I'm not going to do every single one, just the notable one, and then we can dive into it.
Yeah.
Ed Service from Creighton, 22 years with the Creighton Blue Jays, retired.
Service. Yeah.
South Carolina fans will know who the new head coach is. Mark Kingston will be taking over.
Awesome, awesome fit.
Yep.
Congratulations to Service on an unbelievable. Is it Service or Service?
Service. Just
he's Service.
Yeah.
The old manager for the Mariners.
Mm-hmm.
That's his brother, Ed Service.
I knew that. So, congratulations.
I love how Kingston worked under him for a year, and now he's able to kind of be able to add his own flavor, but also he knows how that thing works.
Duke, as been mentioned, Chris Pollard is out. Went to Charlottesville, Virginia to take over the Cavaliers job. Danny Hall at Georgia Tech retired after 32 years. Former Florida State legend James Ramsey takes over. He was the recruiting coordinator, hitting coach. He steps in. Chris Lemonis was not retained at Mississippi State. He was fired after 7 years. National championship winning coach. That's a big deal. Brian O'Connor leaves Virginia, takes over. Stonehill, Pat Bone, 28 years at Stonehill. He retired.
He brought them from Division II to Division I.
Yeah,
throughout those 28 years.
They also promoted from within.
Mm-hmm.
Stony Brook, Mass Sank, retired after 35 years with the Seawolves, most notably taking the Seawolves to the College World Series in 2013. No.
Guess again.
2014?
No, other way. 2012.
12. Okay. And then Virginia, Brian O'Connor is gone as he takes the job in Mississippi State. Chris Pollard steps in. Those are the most notable ones. There's plenty more. You can go look at the list.
I'll add a notable one. San Diego State hired Kevin Vance, pitching coach of Arizona. He's kind of the West Coast Corey Muscara.
And hey, a good buddy of mine, been following him on Twitter for a long time, but Coach Rosen takes over the Manhattan. Is it University of Manhattan or Manhattan? Maybe Manhattan College.
Manhattan College. I think.
Manhattan
College takes over. He was an assistant last year. He gets promoted within.
Noah, trivia question: what are the Manhattan mascot?
Jaspers.
Boy.
Yeah. When you follow D1 college basketball, where it's 365 teams now, that stuff's easy, but
it's definitely Manhattan University too.
Is it?
I remember. I can picture their logo and like their emblem. I think it's Manhattan University because they have a similar logo as Mercer.
Manhattan University, it is.
Yep.
Completely wrong. So anyway, what do you guys? All right, let's do this. Virginia, Mississippi State. There was just a little carousel between Virginia, Duke, and Mississippi State.
And Wake Forest a little bit.
Yeah, but it wasn't a head coach, the pitching coach. So I'm just trying to think of it was like a little carousel of head coaches. Guy, is Mississippi State a top 16 national feeder bus type team next year, or do you give Brian O'Connor a year or two? Like, how do you view this upcoming season?
Well, I mean, I think if it's somewhere between Schlossnagle and Coach Early, somewhere in between there, I think it's pretty successful.
I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate and rain on the parade a little bit. They were ranked number 2 overall in the preseason, and they also missed the NCAA tournament. And, a lot of the portal class that's kind of having them like number 1 or number 2 right now, a lot of them are Virginia, castaways that aren't including Henry Ford, who commits to Tennessee. Yeah. So I consider me confused on how they lose that recruiting battle. Tennessee versus Mississippi State, very, very similar programs and how much money they're willing to spend on baseball. And where Tony Vitello has the recent success, where national championship, 4 Omaha appearances. Brian O'Connor also has 4 Omaha appearances in the same span, I believe, and was the kid's coach for 2 years. How are you losing that? And so I don't know. I think that the roster is going to be good top to bottom, but I don't know if I see it being like a Schlossnagle Texas number 1 overall in April type of deal.
But
I think it's just too early to tell, man. I'm kind of over this whole transfer portal hype. It just never works out. The transfer portal hype never, ever, ever works out.
Of course it does. What do you mean? Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher worked out so good for them.
No, I'm just saying, like, the teams that get hyped up the most about transfer portal.
2023 LSU won it.
That's different, though. They went and got 2 future MLB All-Stars to join 2 other MLB All-Stars on a team.
But
that's not happening.
It never
anymore.
works out because
There's
happens.
No Paul Skeens or Tommy White in this year's transfer portal. There's not even close.
In the transfer portal, I was about to say, put some. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Okay. But do you think Brian O'Connor, like, can you visually envision him at the top step in Dudy Noble? Like, do you think he fits there?
Sure. Why not?
It's weird to me. It's really weird to me. Like, he's like, I don't know. It just seems weird. I think he's the right fit. I think he can build something there, but it's just a weird fit for me.
I say this in the nicest way possible. He comes off as a college baseball nerd, like growing up in Omaha, like always cherishing those trips with the Virginia team. I think he's
on the statue. In front of Charles Schwab.
Yeah, I think he loved Charlottesville a lot to stay there for 20 years and build that program. It took a big time job for him to leave. And, as a college baseball nerd, he knows how much Mississippi State can be like a big time program. And he took the challenge. So
I think he took this job not so much to get paid more or whatever. I think he took this as a challenge.
Yeah.
I want to step into the big bad SEC, and I want to see what I can do here. I want to see what I can build here with all the resources at hand. Let's see what I can do here. I think he's taking it as a challenge rather than, some mid-major coach getting that big time gig. I think O'Connor, he was at the top. He was at the top of the game. He had a powerhouse in Virginia. I think he's taking this as a challenge.
I think he's taking it for a lot more money. And
he had plenty of money. He was making a lot of money. I think he's taking it as a challenge.
I think he got close to a 2x raise.
I think it's almost double what he was making.
Right, but he's already 60-some years old, 70 years old.
He's not. He's like 50s. 60.
Brian O'Connor in the 50s?
Yeah, he's not 60.
No.
Let's see. Creighton went to the College World Series in 78 or 79?
56 off the top of my head. I wrote that, by the way. So if you're curious out there, you're listening to this pod, check out 11.7.com. I wrote a timeline of Brian O'Connor and Mississippi State throughout like multiple years. And
wow, guys, he's 54. I am sorry, Brian O'Connor. You do not look a day older than 40.
It's the 70s.
I was thinking, I didn't mean the 70s. I just blurted that out. But I thought he was in the 60s. Brian O'Connor's got 20 years easy at Mississippi State.
I love how it went from, he doesn't have too much. He's got 20
years.
But
he doesn't look a day over 40. What are you talking about? I don't know what I was talking about there.
But he's got an easy 10 years, and we'll see how well it goes at Mississippi.
Forget everything I said. He took the money and a challenge because if he's 54, that paycheck plays. He can use that for a while. So I take back what I said.
I'm honestly more excited for what Chris Pollard can do at Virginia.
You think he can? I mean, I think he's stepping into a place where the expectations are already high. He has to meet those and more to exceed expectations.
I'm not necessarily excited. That wouldn't be the term that I use.
Why?
because the expectations are already so Omaha or bust with top 2, top 3
You're
rankings year in, year out.
You're sitting at the desk of a Virginia legend because he built that program from scratch. 1.
Okay, the coach
Two,
that left you. Okay, great.
2, Virginia athletics they've pledged financial backing for this year. What I've read though is, they see their athletic success in the future in this revenue share era in Olympic sports. And to me, when I read that, that's not baseball. And that was.
What do you mean? Baseball's in the 2028
Olympics.
That you guys know what I mean, though. So
100%.
Yeah. And wait, that was the reason why.
Mean? What does that mean? Olympic sports.
That was the reason why that, Tony Bennett, their basketball
genuinely asking, Noah, what do they mean by Olympic sports? Like swimming?
Swimming, track and field. All that, yeah.
Yeah.
All the very individual sports.
Yes.
Those sports that we really have diehard fans and would watch games and stuff, right?
I'm just telling you what I read.
The ACC has always been a very prominent track and field individual sport conference. They've been really good at them. So, like North Carolina too.
The writing's on the wall there with Virginia because they hired cheap in football. Tony Bennett, their legendary basketball coach, called it quits just this season before, like 2 weeks before. And then Coach O'Connor takes the Mississippi job, stating kind of the same reasons. So,
but I will say that I think a lot of college baseball fans don't realize how big and how nice Davenport Field is in Charlottesville. Virginia's got a high-level ballpark, big bleachers, big stand, and a gorgeous field. And I don't think many people realize how nice Virginia is.
So jumping back into that Chris Pollard conversation that Ben originally wanted me to answer, it's an easy yes for Chris Pollard and their camp, right? Because he brought over a lot of Duke assistant coaches with him. The facilities are a lot better. The fan base is already there. You're not building that. So yes, you're going to take it without a doubt. It's a win for them. It's a win for Virginia because they're bringing in a very quality coach who's trending in the right direction. My only hesitation with it being a home run hire is, the expectations that Coach Pollard and his camp are walking into are high. Isn't
that what you want as a coach, though?
Virginia's fan base is kind of spoiled at this point.
Ben, I want to answer your question. Think of it this way. Miami was a national powerhouse in football for a long time. Larry Coker gets fired after that 2021 national championship. Like a couple of years later, they went into the pits of hell. They were awful. Cristobal and every other coach that they hired is stepping in with a program that he wants to bring them back to national relevance. Virginia is already nationally relevant right now. It's not like he's stepping into Virginia in 2040. Oh, they used to win national championship. They used to be top 5 every year. We want to bring that back. They're already there. So basically, he has to step in and continue it. That makes sense?
Yeah, but I feel like that's a better place to be. I think it's an easier job to step into a place with high expectations because, you're going to have resources and financial backing and a fan base versus trying to start something from scratch. That sucks.
Who said anything about scratch?
Well, that's what he had to do at Duke.
Right. But there was no expectation at Duke. No one talked about Duke. No one with that Duke practice.
Yeah, it took him 15 years to get him nationally relevant. I don't think he wants to do that again.
That's not what we're arguing. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that he's stepping into a job that was very secure at Duke. He was trending up. Now he has to meet. If Duke misses the regional, not many people care. If he makes the regional Virginia like they did this year, people are already going to get mad. If he doesn't host a regional with his first 2-3 years, people are going to be like, was this the right hire? That's what I'm assuming Noah is saying as well.
Yeah, but let's put it into the real world example. What if you started a tech company and Apple bought it? Apple bought your technology. Now you get to go work for Apple. The expectations are higher, but you've already done it at like the lowest level. And it was hard and it was stressful and it was like a lot of moving pieces. You had to wear 10 different hats being a business owner. Now Apple owns it. And it's like, okay, like I know what to do. Like maybe I don't invent something for Apple, but as long as I like do what I do best, it's going to be successful.
There's a whole lot more of Apple users that are buying the product that have expectations that this is the leader in the industry. So if you change the charger on that
Apple
phone,
to help you out.
If you change the charger on the phone and everybody else has the old cords, they're like, hey, why isn't this working?
I don't think Chris Pollard's goal is to change the cords. I think he wants to just keep doing what's been working. Well, I mean, like, what's he going to change?
I wasn't saying change the cord. Change the cords as in like the success.
Literally.
If the success changes, there's.
But anyway, I think every head coach would have done the same thing. I think Tony or Pollard made the right job. I think he should have taken it. The better job. He can go win a national championship with much more, with higher odds, if you will, than at Duke. But I'm just saying it's going to be hard for him to exceed expectations. That's it. I'm not saying he's wrong for taking it.
Plus, it's better recruiting grounds too, because he grew up in that area. He recruits it well, and he's also not really competing for homegrown kids with North Carolina State, East Carolina, where all three of those programs have been built, established. Yeah. Like those are big name programs in that area. South Carolina, Clemson. So
I'm excited for him there. I'm just saying it's going to be difficult for him to exceed expectation. And if I were him, I wouldn't be mad about it if I don't exceed. I'm getting paid well, getting paid very handsomely. I'm going to be in a regional every year and with a shot to host a regional and a super every other year, whatever the case may be. So I'm excited for it. I just think it's going to be hard for him to exceed the expectations. That's all I was trying to argue.
So from Coaching Carousel, do you guys want to jump to transfer portal real quick? I wrote down a couple.
Well, I wanted to bring up one more thing. San Diego State. People, if you're new to college baseball, or if you've known about college baseball and been following for a long time, San Diego State is a good program with history. What they've done the last couple of years has been pathetic. They are in a very fertile baseball recruiting area. UC San Diego has been really good the last couple of years. San Diego's been really good. San Diego State's been awful. And there's no excuse for a public school with 30, 40,000 students right in the heart of San Diego to not be competing for conference championships and being in regional year in and year out. So I'm really excited for Van to see how the Aztecs do, because that is a program that should be in, flirting with top 25. They're going to be in our mid-major power. They should be in always. So
I'm excited for San Diego State too, but also a little nervous about it because they are making that jump into this new Pac-12 that is formed with Oregon State, Washington State, a bunch of other good mid-major and group of 5 college football programs and basketball programs, right? So it'll be a step up in competition early on in a coach's tenure. So that's always going to be a little bit of a hurdle, a little bit of a challenge. And then the other thing with that I was going to say is, basketball national championship appearance in 2023. Football, they have a lot of football history as well. The whole revenue share, I'm also kind of wondering where the financial commitment is going to be for the Aztecs as well.
It's coming straight from Steven Strasburg's pocket.
Outside NIL is a little bit different.
What a legend. What a freaking legend.
I was doing some digging, and I do think Coach Vance is the perfect hire.
Oh, he's a dog.
Somebody that's highly respected in the industry, someone who has waited his turn and was really good for that Arizona staff this year. And you mentioned it, Dimitri, the resources that San Diego State should have that maybe they haven't had over the last couple of years. It's just one good year could light a fire under that program, and they could be the next Irvine or Coastal Carolina or whoever.
Yeah.
You see San Diego and San Diego, the Torero them being successful the last few years lit a fire into the San Diego area, San Diego City baseball community, that this is literally pathetic and embarrassing for San Diego State to be this bad when a school that just jumped up to Division I and UC San Diego is kicking our ass up and down the line the last few years and should have been in the regional. So I think it was just more of a, if those guys can do it, we should sure as hell should be able to do it and better. So that's, I think, where it kind of the rumbling and the boiling over started, where with UC San Diego being good again, while San Diego State was in the shitter.
Did you guys know that San Diego State has the record for most attended college baseball game?
I did not know that.
I think it was 2004. What year did Petco Park open?
Petco Park open. April 8th, 2004.
Yep. So 2004, they played against, I want to say, the University of Houston, and it was like the highest attendance college baseball game in history. They opened the stadium.
20 years ago, the San Diego State Aztecs set an NCAA Division I baseball attendance record with a 4-0 win over Houston in the first ever game of played at Petco Park. 40,106 attended that game.
Hey, that's another team. University of Houston.
Ben.
Another team that should be.
That was pulled out of the bag. That was some baseball trivia pulled out of a bag right there.
I got a lot of useless stuff in my head, but yeah, like 2004 Houston Cougars, they were really good. Those are the teams like I grew up. I would either go to the Rice games or the Houston games growing up. When they were both really good. Just whoever was in town, that's where we'd go. Yep, 40,000 people at a college baseball game.
Speaking of coaching dominoes, I believe it was Texas Tech hired a major league pitching coordinator in the minor leagues, like some affiliate. And then the pitching coach at Texas Tech, his name is escaping me, he landed with Coach Whitting at Houston.
Was it Parker? His name? Coach Parker? I don't know. I forget.
Speaking of that Texas Tech job, Texas Tech fans absolutely hated that hire. Because of the organization he came from. He came from a organization that has been awful at pitching and pitching development. So,
wait, who?
He came from. I forgot. It was.
Who is notably bad at pitching development?
He was. Who was he with? He was with. I'm pulling it up right now. The Rocky.
Dude.
I'm not saying he's not a good pitching coach. I'm just saying they were pissed because of the optics of, oh wow, we're hiring the pitching coordinator from the Colorado Rockies. They've been really fucking good at pitching the last couple of years.
Their farm has been better at pitching. That's been their focus, has been pitching. So
yeah, I mean, they have your boy Carson Palmquist and
Steve
Dolander.
Steve Foster is the pitching coach for Texas Tech, the new one.
Yeah. I think Texas Tech should be excited. I think they actually showed Tadlock was like, yep, our pitching's been bad. We want to get improved and get better. I think Texas Tech improving this much on the pitching side of things will put that team right back in the regional. I think
and Matt Gardner was the former pitching coach. He landed at Houston with Cheeseborough from Mississippi State, which is a good hire as well. So yeah, it's all of a sudden has gotten to be in a much improved coaching staff over there at Houston. So we'll see what happens.
Corey Muscara at Duke will be interesting. That was the other leg of that carousel that we didn't mention. I think it's going to be fun to see what he can do at the head coach. But you know, it's hard. I think Pollard made people forget is how hard it is to win at Duke.
It's impossible.
How hard it is to win at Duke. So if Corey Muscara even comes close to matching what Pollard did, he'll be gone in no time at a big name school.
Yeah, because his name has been floating around a lot over the last couple of years.
Yep.
So you want to do portal now?
Yeah, Noah, do some portal stuff.
just a couple of key names that we can add some input on outside of the Duke to Virginia pipeline that's following Coach Pollard, outside of the Virginia to Mississippi State pipeline that's following Coach O'Connor. We already mentioned earlier in the show, Henry Ford's now with Tennessee, so that was a huge piece. He was a potential first rounder coming into the year. Stock fell a little bit, but playing at Lindsey Nelson, some bombs sure will be hit by him at Tennessee. Any thoughts on Ford there?
Is he not draft eligible?
He is, but at the same time,
he might not end up on campus.
It might be a leverage move. He's probably paying him a little bit.
Well, like I think it's a lot of, you'll see a lot of draft eligible guys enter the portal and like go sign with Florida or Tennessee or LSU, and they don't end up on campus because like all they're doing is their agent saying, "Hey, if you don't give us $490,000 signing bonus, like we're just going to go play at Tennessee for $250,000."
Yeah. So big one in mid-major country, Ryan Weidman of Western Kentucky commits to Clemson.
Yeah, he probably won't end up on campus.
Also draft eligible, but Ben, we were sitting watching a game at the College World Series when this news came across our phone. Ethan McIlvain from Vanderbilt to Arkansas.
Yep. Golly.
Do we want to share any stories there, or just like
no.
What a pickup.
I just want to rewind to Clemson. Their portal class has been really impressive, but the problem is probably I know two off the top of my head are probably not going to make it to campus. Weidman and Ty Daly are probably not even going to make it on campus. But if they do somehow end up on campus, watch out for Clemson next year.
Yeah. Chris Hakopian from Maryland to Texas A&M.
The portal has become just another leverage tool for these draft guys. Basically, it's just put more pressure on the big league club to pay these guys.
Yeah, it's a safety net. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a safety net.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if I don't get picked, like, do I want to spend a year in Maryland or do I want to go, play SEC baseball? Yeah.
Caden Kent's draft eligible, so A&M went out and got a shortstop in Chris Hakopian from Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And then two other big mid-major names for us: Connor Madison from Grand Canyon to Kentucky, and then Jackson Wells from Little Rock to Arkansas.
Yeah.
That's a really cool one I want to talk about real quick.
Go ahead.
Jackson Wells was not a big-time recruit, goes to Little Rock, which is not a big-time school in the Midwest, pitches for 4 years, 5 years. Every kid in the state of Arkansas, their dream is to play at Baum Walker Stadium. It. Jackson Wells gets the opportunity to play one final year of college baseball at Baum Walker. I think that's so cool. After grinding it out, struggled after was he Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year 2 years ago, right?
2023 best ERA in the country.
Yeah. He had the best ERA in the country in front of Paul Skeen. Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year, struggled last year. Had a decent year this year, just had a little high ERA, but I think that is so cool. He gets to live out his childhood dream of playing in Baum Walker Stadium for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, that's so sick. Mid-major guys that have not committed yet, but have been on our radar for a lot of the year. It's Suki Takamoto.
He hasn't landed anywhere yet?
No. Dimitri, it's Suki Takamoto from Hawaii.
He was Cape Pitcher of the Year last summer.
Yeah, I knew that was your guy.
He struggled this year pitching.
A little bit. He started pretty good and then kind of tailed off. But, yeah, we'll see where he lands. We're also talking about Davion Hickson, the ace of Rice, in the portal right now.
He is so good. I watched him pitch a couple times, just being a Rice homer. He's kind of the next Ianson in my eyes. Very whippy arm, sharp breaking balls. Like, he's going to be good.
I don't think he lands on campus. I think he's the draft guy.
I thought he was a freshman. Was he not a freshman this year? Maybe a sophomore?
Junior.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys. Just like I mentioned, some of the other a lot of the mid-majors taking the jump up to like the big-time schools. It's mainly for leverage because they'll lowball the mid-majors in the draft. I was
about to say Davion Hickson transferred from Florida State to Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Zach Stewart, Missouri State. He was a big draft type guy in the mid-major level coming into the year. He's in the portal, obviously, another kind of leverage play there.
Noah, do you have his numbers in front of you? I forget that. Stewart struggled this year, I think.
I don't think Stewart lived up to like day one.
Hype is unreal.
Unbelievable.
There's big time potential there with Stewart.
We were super high on him in Missouri State this year, and they did not live up to those expectations. So I think Zach Stewart is going to be a guy that's going to go somewhere and going to rebuild his name again.
Speaking of Missouri State, Bogenpol pledged that he was coming back to Missouri State, so that's good for the Bears. Alex Valentin of Texas State, weekend arm for them. He had the big moment in the midweek game against Texas where he gets like a 4-inning save, horns down, was a big highlight there. He's in the portal. Tulane's Friday guy, their best arm was Michael Lombardi, but Luke Flotta is in the portal after like a little bit of a step back season, but he was their number one. Isaac Lyon, another big time arm from the weekend for Grand Canyon, in the portal. And then if Jack was here, he would love this guy, but Connie Derschlag of High Point in the portal as well. He was a big.
He's a stud.
So, and that is all I got on the names in the portal that I figured we could talk about.
Love it. Cool. Yeah, I'm just, dude, the portal to me, it's important to the game, but I'm over it. Like, I let those teams figure that stuff out. I'll figure out the teams this fall.
Correct.
I'm the exact same as Ben. I could care less. I'll look at it later.
So
back in my day, there wasn't no portal. You had to go play junior college for a year or sit out.
2 more ideas that I think we had coming into the show were MLB Draft Talk, and then we were going to scroll through Twitter.
We need to do a full season recap.
So Twitter highlights and MLB Draft Talk. Ben, were there any other ideas that we had before we?
Nope, that was it.
So what do you want to do first, Dimitri?
We're going to end the show with this season review. So whatever you want to talk about now, go ahead.
So draft. Ben, this was your idea, right? So
what do you want to talk about with draft?
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys want to ask me questions and I'll give you answers, or like, how do we want to do this? Because, like, I mean, I could say who I think should be the number 1 overall pick or whatever, but maybe highest risers, biggest fallers.
For the clip worthy, first college pitcher, first college hitter, then we'll go highest riser, and then stock down a little bit. I guess.
Name. Dude, change my name back. I don't work for MLB.com.
And Ben of MLB.com.
No, dude, I don't want to be associated with MLB.com.
I want to hear your advice on the draft. So,
all right, so let's do this. Let's do this for some clips. Ben and Dimitri and myself. Let's do first college hitter. Who do you think the first college hitter will be taken in the 2025 MLB draft?
First college hitter taken. I think it's going to be Iva Arquette. I think there's a lot of like Carlos Correa in him. He's a 6'5" shortstop, athletic as hell. He's somebody that, I mean, we saw him in person. He's not very muscular, but he's got a good build. I just think MLB teams are going to drool all over him. And getting to watch his batting practice and like watch his in and out, the game comes easy to him. And like, that's my biggest takeaway. Like, same reason why I liked Kade Anderson preseason, because I think pitching comes easy to him. Like, Iva Arquette is he's the clear-cut best draft-eligible player this year for Major League talent.
So what's next? Is it me? Am I saying, or is he doing best?
If you wanna go, or I can go.
I didn't. Are we doing hitter and then circling back around and doing pitcher?
Yeah, let's do that.
I think this was the year of the shortstop in college baseball. I think you have to look at Iva Arquette, Merrick Houston, Vahiva Aloy, Alex Lodies. Like, it was the year of the shortstop. And I think Arquette is just the best frame, the best tool, biggest ceiling, I think, of all those guys. So I would assume he's going to be the first bat off the board from the college ranks. But I think Vahiva Aloy should be up there. I think Lodi should definitely be up there. So it'll be fun to see, but I think Arquette's got that locked up.
I will, for the clip's sake, Ivar Arquette, I agree with you guys, is going to be the first college bat taken. I think he goes number 3 overall to the Seattle Mariners, back to the state where he began his college career playing for the Washington Huskies. The Hawaiian heads back to Seattle.
Yeah, I like that 3 spot for him. Now the Mariners sometimes get pitcher friendly in
Yeah, they're
drafts.
high school pitcher, high school.
Yeah,
talent.
and like they got a plethora to choose from. Like Ethan, I think Ethan Holiday is the best player in this draft, and it sucks that he's not a college player. But I mean, he's better than his brother, and his brother's pretty freaking good. I think Ethan Holiday will go 1 overall.
I
Best
think 1, 2 is because I agree with you. Ethan Holiday's 1. I think my number 2 is Seth Hernandez. Like that kid's got a good build at 6'4".
I don't even know who the hell that is.
High 90s arm, right-handed. Like
he's not even the best player on his high school team.
why? Who else is on the high school team?
Doesn't he?
Is that Corona High School?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they are
Billy
low.
Carlson. I like Billy Carlson more than Seth Hernandez.
I like Hernandez, and then there's
Billy
a third
Carlson's
one too.
All right, Ben, college pitcher.
Oh,
Yeah, who's the
This is
first
easy.
college pitcher off the board in the 2025 MLB draft? Is it Kade Anderson? And if it's not, why?
No, I texted you guys the other day. I don't know if I want to say the text. I don't think Kade Anderson's going to go higher than guys like Jamie Arnold, Liam Doyle, and those type explosive pitchers. I think Kade Anderson has the highest floor, but how are you going to look past Jamie Arnold? Like the ceiling is through the roof. And I know that saying makes no sense, but if it's not Jamie Arnold, there's got to be something underlying, like a potential injury, or he's asking for $10 million. Like Jamie Arnold's the best guy out there.
I think Kyson Witherspoon has an argument, but I think Jamie Arnold is the clear-cut number 1. I think I'm taking Kyson Witherspoon over Liam Doyle. I think Liam Doyle's got the intangible, but I think he finds a lot of barrels. And this is not some nerd guy. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm just talking from watching the game. Liam Doyle's probably got the best stuff right there, 1A, 1B with Jamie Arnold. Jamie Arnold misses more bats and misses more barrels. Less big inning, and I think the MLB team, I don't know how that plays, but I think the numbers will show that. But I think Kyson Witherspoon is really – I think he has a big league pitcher. But Jamie Arnold, first one off the board.
I'll tell you, in my draft goggles, when I have my draft goggles on,
Yeah,
I agree with you on Kyson Witherspoon. I think he's certified top end of the rotation kind of guy. I think Gage Wood just jumped him, and they're pretty similar body type, size, pitch selection. They're pretty similar. And I think Gage Wood's going to be the highest riser in this draft just based off of what he did in Omaha, because he was throwing Jake Arrieta bowling balls up there. And it was like, oh, shoot, you can't teach that.
Wait, Gage Wood's fastball is the opposite.
it's not a bowling
ball. It is a high spin, induced vertical break.
Yeah. IDV through the roof.
Maybe I have the saying wrong. Is a bowling ball like an actual
Bowling
term?
Bowling ball is a sinker.
A low spin, like sinker, breaks your bat, just heavy.
I always thought it was like even whenever you make contact, it doesn't go anywhere. That's what I thought a bowling ball was.
If you make contact with Gage Wood and you get on top of it, that ball's going a long way. But his spin is so high that a guy foul it off, swinging a minute, or pop it straight up.
All right, that's my bad. I didn't know what bowling ball meant. I just thought it meant like heavy fastball. Like
Everybody knew what
heavy.
you were talking about. It was just a slightly wrong term.
Yeah. So Gage Wood has like an electric fastball. You can think of somebody as remember Nick Birdie from Louisville?
How can I forget Nick Birdie?
That was like a bowling ball. His ball was like heavy. It was gas, but it was heavy.
Okay.
Gage Wood is just electric, high spin, just stays up.
The first college arm that I think is going to be picked, and it's an outside shot again, just because I think you both, specifically maybe Ben talking about Jamie Arnold, and Dimitri also hit Jamie Arnold. Kade Anderson's got like the high metrics left-hander, 3,000 RPM curveball, fastball he hit like 19 IVB in the 8th inning the other day. So if a nerd is drafting, the nerd's going to love him. But guys, the Angels draft second overall, and they're going to take a left-hander that throws 99. They're going to go with Liam Doyle out of Tennessee. One, because they have drafted from Tennessee before. Christian Moore last year, and then Ben Joyce a couple of years ago, the high voltage arm. I think they go with the big time fastball from the left side that, that's hard to find, one. And two, it's the Angels. They're going to rush up a college prospect.
I just realized Tennessee fans are going to get mad at me that I didn't speak of their God and their Lord and Savior, Liam Doyle, with the highest of the highest praise. I think he's really good. I just think Danny Arnold misses barrels a little bit better. I think that's a fair take.
Are you forgetting about Tyler Bremner?
No, I think he's slipped a little bit.
I think Bremner slipped.
I think he's a first rounder.
Ben, I pulled up MLB.com draft prospect ranking because I want to see where they had Gage Wood. Right now, he's 50, right next to Kade.
Well, they haven't updated.
Right. But
Gage Wood is not the 50th best player in this.
Not anymore.
He was injured. He's a top 15 guy.
He's had 2 or 3 shoulder issues. So I don't know how much teams are going to look into the medical there. I'm
going to list off all the college arm that he's behind and tell me if you guys are that needs to be changed. Zach Root.
Root's a lefty with some deception.
Okay.
I like Root.
Okay. Patrick Forbes.
I like Forbes.
I like Forbes too.
And Forbes has a young arm. He was like a two-way guy, so there was not a lot of pitches taxed there.
Riley Quick.
Also probably Quick for me.
JB Middleton.
I might go Wood over Middleton though.
I would probably go Wood over Middleton, even though I love Middleton.
Yeah.
Tyler Bremner. So this was, I don't know when this was updated, but the guys that are in front of him are also really damn good.
It was a good pitching year for college baseball.
It was kind of a so-so hitting year, but it was a good pitching year.
Yeah.
Highest riser, Ben already kind of said Gage Wood.
Yeah, easy.
He would have been mine too.
Gage Wood's kind of got that Cade Horton rising vibe that was it 2022.
Yeah. Can I go with Ike Irish? Has he rose a little bit in your guys' opinion? Because him playing in the outfield, showing off the cannon in that aspect has given him where are we going to play him to, he can play some outfield? Because it might be the best bat in the college class, in my opinion. Left-handed, hits for average and power. And if you want to try to see how he develops behind the plate defensively throughout the minors, you can. Or I think he could be a pretty quick bat through the minor leagues.
Kind of like the Kyle Schwarber approach of, hey, pretty good college catcher. We don't know if it's going to translate. He's no Bodine back there, but he's got the bat, and we'll find a place for him to play.
Correct.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ike Irish goes top 12, maybe top 10.
You know what I'm tired of, and maybe I'm guilty of this too. I think I said this last year. There's probably been 100 guys projected first rounder on social media. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
This guy's a first rounder. He's a first rounder.
There is 40 first rounders.
Yeah, but hold on. First rounder can be a loosely used adjective saying this guy is really fucking good.
Yeah, but they're not all going to be first rounders.
I mean,
there's 40 first rounders.
I do it too. We've all done it.
Yeah,
I know.
Ben was saying, he's a culprit of it too.
Yeah, I've said it too, but
it's just a loosely used adjective. It's basically saying this guy is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a very good college draft. I think the last 2 or 3 years.
I would disagree. I think the high school draft is the high school talent top end is better.
The top end college talent is not good, and this is my overall big picture take.
I didn't say anything about high school. I just said I think this is a really good college draft. I think there's a lot of really good players.
I don't know if it's good at the top. and where.
Oh, really?
This is my big picture take on this. You're not going to see a lot of teams spend big early, and that's going to allow them to buy down a lot of high school talent late, going into like the 10th roundish. And it might not be the strongest freshman class next year in the college ranks. That's kind of my big picture take. Yeah, the sophomore eligible, the junior class this year, that the lack of maybe like a Jace Laviolette totally taking control of a top 10 pick, Tyler Bremner kind of fallen out of favor over a couple of other right-handed arms. The lack of those blue chips demanding multiple $1 million might hurt us.
Is Laviolette a slam dunk first rounder?
Yes.
I think he's a slam dunk.
I still think he's a top 10 overall pick. Like these major league organizations are going to say, oh, there's a 6'6" center fielder, left-handed, power, good arm, speed. They're not going to pass that up. Like he had a down year, but his other 2 years were so good. Yeah. It's like, all right, maybe we just get him a little bit cheaper now.
I think he's top 15.
I think he's a top 10 slam dunk. Like it would not surprise me if he goes like top 3 or 4 still. Just saying it.
All right.
No chance.
This is a good way to put it. I think we're gonna see how much major league teams actually value the college season this year. There's a few guys that didn't have great seasons in college, but projectability and size and the intangibles, like maybe they go a lot higher than what people are projecting.
Yeah, you're not wrong there at all.
Yep.
They might not value the college season
because like the Golden Spikes Award between the two players, like it's a position player award. Vahiva Aloy, I haven't heard a whole lot of top 15, and Alex Lodis, I haven't like heard his name pretty buzzy either as like a conversation starter in the MLB draft.
Is his brother Kyle? Is he a top 3 rounder? Top 2?
Cousin.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's a good question whether he's even eligible. Yeah, he is eligible.
No, he's draft eligible.
He's 76th on MLB Pipeline right now, which was last month's update.
So he'll be top 5 rounder.
Yeah.
No, dude, they're all first rounders. All of them.
Oh, speaking of, so I looked up where Kyle Lodis is at. Gavin Turley made himself some money this week. Yeah. He's 78th on the MLB Pipeline rankings. That's only going to go up.
What about Gavin Keelan? Because he's somebody that I've seen a lot of hype behind.
I think he's probably a second baseman if he wasn't able to really.
No way. Was he ranked?
Oh, where is he ranked?
Yeah, like where's he ranked?
Oh, I think he's still top 25, probably.
No. Search on the thing.
Gavin Keelan, 17th.
Pretty good.
I think he proved himself when he came back from his injury that he belonged up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't follow MLB draft stuff like you guys do, so I'm not an expert on this by any means.
I will say the number one name that I'm going to be disappointed in not coming to college is Cruz Schoolcraft.
Oh, he's my favorite.
He is?
I thought I told you this in Omaha. Yeah, I think he's like a future superstar. Cruz Schoolcraft.
He's Joseph Jerwa, just 3 years younger. Dude. Just alien lefty, can hit, can pitch.
Where's he committed to?
Oregon State. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough hit.
He's so good.
How big is this kid again? He's up there.
He's like
6'8", 230.
Yeah, dude. Huge. All right, well, I got to run here pretty soon. I had to go be a dad. Do we have time for the season wrap-up, or should we save it for another episode?
I say
you guys.
How much time do you have?
I think we should do a full episode. We should do a full episode on best of 2025.
Yep.
Okay. We'll do that. You want to do awards too? Well, you always say like
We gave out awards already.
We already did the award.
Ben's always wanted to do like high school class reward, like awards, like these mock awards. He's smiling because he knows I'm right.
I forget all the awards, but you're right. Like best left-handing. I don't know. I'll have to think of some awards. Maybe
I think we should
if I can think of
the season. Recap the season.
We'll do best of 2025 season.
Yep.
It'll be good. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. I gotta go be a dad.
Live MLB draft watch party? ?
There's a chance I'll be at the draft.
Yeah.
I haven't broke that news yet. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be maybe at the draft, All-Star Game, Home Run Derby.
Why?
Early.
Synergy
probably. The hat he's wearing.
For work.
Thank you, Synergy, for allowing me to have a place to stay for the first weekend.
Yep.
I loved sleeping in Ben's room. The floor was very comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you had a bed in there. Don't lie. Don't lie.
That room was loud. Will, you, myself.
Yeah.
Loud.
It was fun.
All right, gentlemen.
Let's wrap up there. We love everybody. We'll do more off-season stuff. We'll do it best of 2025. We might do an MLB draft thing. We got some free time. So we love everybody for listening. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back. Bye.